Okay, welcome to a painting video. This is a real-time painting session on Senjutsu Battle for Japan, and this time I'm painting the Ronin. This is because it's part of the solo campaign, so I just wanted to get a bit of colour on there at the moment. I have primed these with Wraithbone, Citadel Wraithbone spray, my go-to for Citadel colour contrast paints. I'll talk about each paint as we go through, but hopefully this will show, as usual, I haven't done a painting video for a really long time, so hopefully this will show how quick and easy we can get some good results. So I'm going to use the colour scheme from the card and put that off to the side for a second so we don't get it wrecked. I'm going to start with Guilliman Flesh. This is my kind of go-to skin tone for most things. It's a bit of a creaky chair, apologies. Oh, and I haven't brought it with me, silly enough. I do actually have a kind of 3D printed paint stand to try and stop any spillages that might take place. So we're going to go with the hand first of all. I'm not too fussed about, again, getting over the handle of, or the shaft of this Naginata, is it? Naginata, the weapon, because it's going to go on a darker brown anyway, so that won't matter too much. Now, as we take it out of view, so apologies about that. Hopefully that is focused. If I move this, it might help. Just make sure I've got a clear image as best I can. So, as with always, these Citadel paints, the contrast paints, they are one coat wonders. No need for a wash, no need for highlighting or layering. Just a decent primer, depending on what kind of tone colours you want to come through. I do like the vivid pop of Wraithbone. I think it gives a nice warm pop to the miniatures, so that's what that's what I use all the time. But you can go grey sear for a deeper, you go Zenithal, which I'm sure many painting tutorials will talk about. But effectively, that's the hand finished. So moving on from the hand, I think we'll go straight on to do the armour. So, Ultramarine Bruise. Now, I'm quite tempted. I have got Luxion Purple here to actually do purple on the arms and everything. So blue for the kind of the cloak, I guess you can call it. So we'll start there. Yeah, see, this is why. Oh, I forgot about my thing. I left it out of the shed. But we're going to go straight into this with this blue, okay, Ultramarine's blue. Try not to get it everywhere. And I can't, well, I probably could use my miniature holder. It tends to be used for circular bases. And these being hexagon bases, I think will make it a little bit more difficult, possibly. But I don't mind, it'll be fine. So just going up to about there. Pen inside. And again, you will see results happening pretty much immediately. As the paint starts to dry, it starts filling those crevices and really giving you that that complete look almost immediately. It is relatively expensive to get into if you already have paints, contrast paints, if it's something that you might be thinking of. I mean, I'm such an advocate for them. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and I just basically won't paint with anything else now, just because of the amount I need to paint with all the tabletop miniature games I've got, as well as my board game miniatures. That, yeah, I have to use these really. And again, if I kind of go over bits, it's not really a massive issue, mainly because it's going to be purple and quite a bluish tinged purple in that as well, for the bits that I'm not doing. So I'm going to go kind of around there and across there. Bring this in. Pretty happy with that. Now the is that just a sword hilt? No, that's so down here. But yeah, I would definitely. I mean, it just adds to the hobby. If you like, especially if you like miniature board games, like Senjutsu, I'd highly recommend giving it a go. You can pick up just a few paints. There are some really go-to paints that you kind of are essential, like the blacks and the whites, yellows, reds, blues. You know, like what you imagine the core kind of primary colours to be, as well as some browns and skin tones. And you know, it can definitely mount up in terms of cost. But if you've got the budget and you've got the money to have a go, I think it's such a rewarding excuse me, part of the hobby. I'd highly recommend it if you don't paint already. As I said, if you've got a load of paints already, investing in contrasts might not seem the best use of the money. Okay, so there is the blue that we're going to be using. So the rest is going to be on using purple. That Luxion Purple. I quite like the purple and red idea. While we're waiting for that blue to dry, I think I'm going to go down here with that purple and just show what that purple colour actually looks like. Now I do have this, which is a holder, which does make life easier. It's just whether or not it stays in. I think it will. We'll give it a go. We'll see how it goes. Just trying to keep that in focus as best as I can for you guys. So just on these, oh, that's better, isn't it? And there you can see the actual purple colour really coming through now. I think I'm going to bring it out here as well. And obviously you can just carry on with the blue if you don't want this slightly different colour, of course. It's personal preference for all of painting. You can go whatever you want. You don't have to follow card art with any painting, but I tend to, in the most part, just so it matches other parts of the game, the artwork, cards, blah blah blah. So I do tend to follow the card art as best I can on most miniatures from board games. There we go. that actually comes up. I'm going to just put this purple coming up just up there as well. I think it kind of comes in there. And then that's going to be that red colour. Gone over it there, as you can see there. The red's got a really high pigment, so it should be fine. This banner, is that even in it? Is it red? Yeah, it's a red banner. Cool. So that's the purple for now. I'm going to come back to that, obviously, around the arms. So next, I think what we'll do is we'll get some red in there and see how that looks. So, nice bright red, the Blood Angels red. By the way, sorry, I completely forgot to show it. The blue was something called Ultramarines blue. It's a really nice blue. This is quite a, well, you'll see it, it's quite a muted blue. Whereas if you want a really bright blue, we've got Telesar blue. I think it's a really bright blue. The purple we're using is Luxion Purple. I'm going to go in now with Blood Angels red. Okie dokie. So you'll see how vivid this becomes. So I think, just have a look at that card a minute. Oh no, that's it's got red background. It's like a burgundy red, really. It's something we can use on. But I'm just going to get this red onto here. Make sure I've got plenty of paint on the brush to go into that detail. Really good detail on these miniatures. It's also got a sash. I've got to be careful not to get the sash as best I can. I'm going to put, I think I'll put like some sort of gold on these, so I'm just going to put the red going across all of that. Just keep the red going all the way around. And I think there might be a bit of purple bleeding into there, but that's fine. The red will overshadow it, no problem. So this might be too bright for what you want as a result, but again, what I'd always suggest is wait until you've finished and it's fully dried before you make decisions. Like I said, I like my miniatures to really pop on the table, so that's why I go for this, the more brighter. But you can definitely use, and I do, and I may well do on this as well, use washes, things like Null Oil, to darken the tones and just make it look a little bit more realistic, a little less in your face, as it were. Okay, so it looks as though all of this is so we're going to go full also here. I'm definitely going to use I might use some, what do you call it, Aggoros Earthshade to dull down this red. That might give it a really good tonal colour. Is this all red? Yeah. So just literally going in there with a fair amount of red. Up to the top there. And even, yeah, definitely, even the helmet. The laminate armour of the helmet, definitely. And then we're going to mix in a bit of gold with that. I will be going over some of these bits with some different colour, and you've almost got like you get some Wraithbone. Where is it? If you get some Wraithbone base because of the Wraithbone spray, this is like your eraser, okay? So if you do make a mistake, you can just re-go over it with your Wraithbone and then do that a little bit again. So it's not the end of the world if you do something like that by accident. We're going to do the flag here with the same red. I think I'm going to go with some gold for the connecting tassels. Oops. I mean, the gold's definitely going to go over the red, so I'm not really too fussed. So just letting the paint do the work for you. That's what you want to do with these contrasts. Right, okay. So, pretty bright, admittedly, but it's coming along. It's starting to come along. Just looking at it here, what's that? Looks like some sort of, don't know. I think I'm going to put this red as well. I think that makes sense. That's good. Like, I can go Wraithbone over that because that's not too happy with that one. All right, let's go here. You can decide what to do with this one afterwards. Still got to tweak this painting setup when filming. Still not super happy with it because the stand that I use to keep the phone on, which is my camera, is a little bit, does get in the way on some angles. And then paint around that bit there. And down here. Trying to leave that strap to get the brown on there. The fist is also, well, okay, everything's red. Okay, cool. Let's do it. There we go. Really nice model detail on these. They're going to look great. And also I've got Test of Honor and Bushido, so if I can easily replace those standees with other miniatures. The problem is I haven't painted those ones either, so that'll give me an excuse to paint some Bushido and some well, not so much Bushido. I've got the Bushido painted, but I've not got Test of Honor painted properly yet. I've just got a few Samurai and some Ashigu. Guru. I'll never get that word right. Getting there. Cool. So it's looking pretty formidable. Now, the mask-wise, what have we got going on? Let me just... So, we've got red coming in here. And down here. Therefore, across here. And on there. And I'll just keep the red going across here. Get some more paint. I'm going to be using some gold on these parts. So I just want to hit the bits that we're not going to use for gold. Pretty happy with that. Can always go over bits that we missed. That won't be a problem. We're just trying to hit the main parts. Right, let's just do the legs while we've got the red out. And again, don't worry too much about... Just try... Sometimes this detail is more of a hindrance. Trying to get the paint into it. So just filling up your brush with just a little bit more paint can sometimes help to just let it soak into it. And we're coming up to 22 minutes into the video. Again, the beauty is I know we've only got effectively 2 colours on here at the moment, but we're already seeing a slight idea about how it's going to come out. Okay, come round to the other leg, I should say. Highly recommend, if you do not have one of these miniature holders when you're painting, I highly recommend them. They make just, because sometimes you just want to, I mean, that wasn't great, but sometimes you just want to get around the miniature easier, get your hands out the way, does all of that. Nice. Okay. I think I'm happy with the red there. So now we're going to move on to just do the shaft of the Naginata. So for this, I'm going to use Wyldwood. And by the way, I'm going to use Wyldwood for all the straps as well. I've also got, what base will this be? It's just like a plains field. So that's nice because I've got all the static grass and everything for that as well. So just come down to the fingers. Across. Nice. And then up to this. And as you start to paint away the white, that makes such a difference as well. So that's why I'm saying you can't really judge it fully until you've effectively got most of it painted. And then you decide if you want to go slightly different, wherever it might be. That'll do for that, for now. As I say, I want to kind of leave those as it were. Now, I've got to make a decision on like the socks that they wear. I'm thinking purple. I think we just go purple throughout for the feet, but that'd be quite wet. Then I'm probably going to go with black, and then put a bit of what's called underclothes. It's basically like a gloss varnish onto those, which make them look shiny, so they're kind of lacquered. I've completely forgot that. Let's do that now. And what I would always say is any quality of painted miniature, literally any quality painted miniature, looks better than grey plastic. So if you've got some old paints lying around, just get some colour on these. I mean, you can just give them a wash. So sun drop, obviously one of the options, is one of the main ones that they talk about, and we see a lot of our board game miniatures using. Very quick and easy way to get to see the detail, which you can start seeing now as it's starting to dry. Cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a bit of Skeleton Horde contrast paint. By the way, that wood was Wyldwood. And we're just going to do the tips of the arrows that are on the floor with this, just because that bit's not wet yet. We've got fantastic sculpted bases, which is great. So you might as well paint them as well. Of course, you don't have to use static grass or anything like that, but I just think might as well while we've got it. Just make it look a little bit better for not a lot of effort. I won't be showing that on this video, of course, because I have to wait for it to dry. So that was Skeleton Horde. We've got dry enough to do those purple. I'd say so. So going back to chucking my miniature miles off the table. Fortunately, no paint pots open, which is the absolute classic, by the way. When you paint, you can see all the stains and everything of where I've accidentally hit a pot over, especially when recording. It tends to happen more than once. So going with the purple here. And don't worry, we will get that shade darker before we are finished. And also there's purple in here as well. Just try and get all the angles needed to get in there. Like so. And on the other side. Watch out, because that's the Wyldwood that I'm kind of touching upon. So just clean your brush off, or just take the paint off it before you go back on. Nice. You know, I love colour. I gotta be honest. Again, away from realism, but I mean that's gonna proper pop on the board. So I may not even darken these colours. We'll see how it comes out. Okay, we've got a Sash going around here, obviously holding up the katanas. I have left that down there, which is a bit of a problem. So let's go back to that Ultramarines blue and just grab that last bit. And it's when you start getting colour on, you go, hang on a minute, I've completely missed something there. So that goes down there like so. Better. Okay. Well, actually, it's just used red. So let's go back to that as well. Getting our Blood Angels red again. What I'm going to do is around this flag, I'm just going to finish off. I'm going to use it on these bits here. I think I'm going to use black for the actual thing itself, so that's why I'm not too fussed about going over those. You could be a bit careful in what I'm doing here. As you notice, I've not changed brush either. I think this is a size 1, if you were wondering. Okay. I'm also running quite a big risk, because I've actually got this painting on my Solomon Kane neoprene large mat that I use basically all the time. We should be alright. Just don't, please, touch wood, do not knock over a paint pot. Right, this sash, I'm pretty okay with how it looks, I think. This bit here, I think needs to get some Wraithbone on. So I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit of Wraithbone from my base paint. And we're just going to, this is what I mean, a bit like the eraser. Just get touching out there. And while I'm here, I can do this one. Probably do a bit more. Okay. Yep. Pretty happy with that. Water, by the way, I probably should reiterate again, water is not good for contrast paints. It kind of stops its action. So water is great for cleaning the paint off your brush, obviously, but also for using as almost like an eraser. If you make a mistake and go over somewhere, just get some water on your brush, put it over it, and keep using some tissue paper or kitchen roll to kind of dab it up, pick off, dab it off, and you can actually get rid of the paint off it. But you need to do that before it dries, of course. So you've got to be quite quick when you do that. I think we've still got some wet paint in most areas at the minute. We're going to do some lines down there. We're going to wait for that to dry. These socks are purple, we said, didn't we? So let's go back with the purple and do the footwear. I'm sure they're not called socks, by the way. So excuse me for... I don't know their real name. I'm sure someone may comment with what they're actually called. but we are going to paint what I'm going to call the socks. Missed off some red there. And then sometimes you can't, well, you can, of course you can, but some of the detail you might want to just almost paint around or over. Does depend on what colour you want to paint over it. Just like watercolours, the darker tones or higher pigment colours will definitely go over those that are weaker, but vice versa as well. So you've got to be a little bit careful. So lighter tones to start with, moving up to stronger tones is what is the order you want to kind of do in. Okay. I will show you how to do. I'll show you how I do the metal work. By the way, when we get there, I think. Yeah. Okay. So, next paint that we've not used yet, kind of staple in the contrast range, which is Black Templar. Now, I've found with Black Templar that the lids get clogged up quite easily and often, which is a bit of a pain in the ass because it kind of keeps refreshing it with new paint. Produce this kind of seal to stop it from closing properly. Just something I found out. I'm going to go black. I think I'm going to go black with both, actually. Obviously, you can go to town with the colours of the... they're probably not called scabbards, are they? Oh, that's... never mind. I've got to get the blue onto that. It's when you start to paint things, you go, hang on a minute, that's not actually a sword. Of course it's not a sword. That's part of the cloak. Never mind. If the miniature goes off camera, by the way, it's because I'm just trying to do a detail and can't get the angle quite on camera. So I like to show relatively close up of the miniature so you can kind of see what's going on. The sash is coming around to hold these katanas in place. I'm pretty happy with that. So that's them done. And then we want to do the mask in this black. So I'm sorry, I will have to take off camera in just a second while I figure out how I'm going to get this angle without going everywhere. Oh, struck the car. And sometimes it actually helps to look through the camera. Not sure. Okay, we'll go with it. I'm going to do a few little changes here as well. So where we've got this armour, I'm actually going to break it up a little bit with a bit of black. Like so. Okay, and I think I'm going to do the same around the edges of these lacquered armour. So I'm just going to do some black edging. That's perhaps a bit too much. Just use your finger there on the edge. That's nice. I'm just doing this just so it gives a little bit of a difference in the toe. Or else it can look all a bit just flat with just one colour. So, you know, this is 100% optional stage, but I just think it'll help to make the miniature just come alive a little bit more. But once you do it on there, obviously, then you've got to do everywhere else. And the contrast paints will help you here. That's the beauty of the contrast paints. Just paint over that, I think. No, I don't. We can bring this up here. Grab those chords. Whoops. Might be a bit excessive, I don't know. Adds a bit of detail, adds a bit of difference. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I might just do it over here as well, like so. Yep, that's cool. Just going to get those two little bits there with the black as well. And I mean, we're kind of going to hit all these. We're going to attempt to hit a lot of these little circles with gold. That's what we're going to attempt when we come to that. Now I think I'm going to do this black as well, because I think the black and red will really come through. So these are going to be black. Like so. Trying to get into each little crevice, I guess you can say, to try and get this right. Oops. Fiddly work, but it will pay off once you've done it. Yeah, this is probably the hardest work on the miniature. Just getting these little details done. Again, you try and let the brush do most of the work for you. Try and get that brush to get the paint into the places you want it to go. Just make sure you got enough paint on your brush again. It's the only thing I would suggest. And there we kind of go. There it is. So I'll put the black away. And I think we'll get the Wyldwood. Well, before we do that, I'm going to do the Sash kind of white. Because that's what it looks like on the thing. So this is another kind of go-to Citadel contrast paint, which is Apothecary White. Make sure you give it a good old shake before you use it. Get the pigment flow. And our Ronin is looking pretty cool. It's coming out all right. Again, we won't see the true nature of it until we've finished. And I haven't decided again fully. That black may not be dry. This could be a bit dodgy. So Apothecary White is, I guess you can say, technically a grey. But it works really well. I do like Apothecary White. I think it, for what it's meant to be used for, works very well. Right, we're going to go back to that Wyldwood. Whoops. We'll go back to that Wyldwood. Try and do these straps now. I mean, I could have done them black, but again, I'm going to try and follow the art kind of as close as possible to a point. And this, you could definitely say this is a little bit fiddly, this bit. 100%. But just take your time. And if it doesn't quite work out, it's not the end of the world. The other colours should mask it, as it were. But this is why I was trying to leave these gaps, because the Wyldwood is not super strong pigment paint. So I won't go over a lot of the others. Excuse off shot again. Just try and get that angle. I might have a bit too much paint on that one. But again, as with all of my paintings, it's not trying to win competitions, it's just making it try and look a little bit better on the table. Straps wise, I think that's about it. But I'm going to do all the feet here as well. So let's bring these over here. This I find really hard, but again, I guess don't worry about it too much. Just get some colour on different parts of it. I'm going to do black for the feet, for the soles. And we're on 50 minutes now. So this is taking quite a while, because I'm not even on the... yeah, this is for a miniature, this is taking quite a while. I think it's because it's got a fair amount of detail to get painted. I would normally be definitely on to the metalwork by now, which I'm pretty much on, to be fair, but not quite. The actual handles of the katana, I'll need to think about. Okay, so that's the Wyldwood for now. I think we go back to that black and do some of these tassels. Or maybe I'll do them white, actually, like they've got in the picture. Right, let's go and do the blue, because the blue is really annoying. That just white slash at the moment. So this needs to go blue. Good. Right, handles. Handles, I'm going to keep white, I think. So I'm going to go back with that Apothecary White. We're going to just have some, just a few white details onto our Ronin. There we go. I might change that. I might actually put some, like, keep it white and then have some red details in there as well or something, just to mix it up. I'm just going to check the horns a minute. Horns are actually purple, so let's get that done. Which is pretty out there, but they look quite cool, maybe. Maybe not, we'll see in a second. They have got gold accents all over them as well, which we can do, but in the most part they are actually purple on the card art, so let's go with that. As best as we can try and get these angles. Awesome. Oh, and I've just gone over the wood there. So what I'm going to do is just quickly just grab a slightly wet brush and just pick up that bit there. And he's ready for the metal. The metal will help quite massively. It's when you get the metalwork on it really starts to shine a little bit better. So I need to just rearrange my table just slightly. And we're going to need a gold and a Leadbelcher. So 2 different metallic paints. Base coat, and we've got Leadbelcher for most silver work and Retributor Armour for the gold work. Now it is mostly gold here. So I'm going to give this a good old shake. Then I'm going to attempt to get all of this on. So I have got a brush to use. Oops. The Retributor, you can thin it down a little bit with water. Sometimes helps. But I find just grabbing it straight out of the tub. I've put it onto a little plate, a little palette, to help pick up paint easier than straight from the pot. But obviously you'll tend to waste a little bit if you do it that way. But I just find it a lot easier. I'm just going in with the gold first. We've only got the blade to go with silver anyway, so most of this work's going to be gold. So this here, again, just take your time with the gold and the metallics, because they will go over any paint you've just used, which is good for some things, but if it's over something you want to keep, you're going to have to go in with the Wraithbone base again. Not 100% sure about the modelling of this helmet. Doesn't seem very symmetrical. It might just be the pose that I'm just not seeing or something. It's a bit of a bind to get in there, but looks okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And just dabbing these bits here. Oops, too much. It's really hard to do. Man, am I going to attempt to do all these? I mean, I've got some black over there as well, unfortunately, for some reason. So I'm just going to get some gold going down these bits here. Yeah, okay. We're going with it. Not going to do it on there. Nah, that just wouldn't make sense. I think I'll just do it a little bit on the outside there. A little bit on the outside there. If I can see. Oof. Right. Let's get some gold on there a bit now. So we've done it with black first. Now we're going to hit it with gold. Ronin is pretty rich. Okay, let's go down here to these. Yeah, I've wasted a fair amount of gold here. Okay. Let's keep the gold coming around to this down here. And this. So the black really helps the gold anyway, so that's worked well. There we go. And as you can see, it's already looking much, much better. Right, we need to do a little bit of... Oh, right, hang on. This is the only problem is I will need to sort out this filming setup because it's very, very tight, should we say. There we go. We're okay. We're okay. Right, let's get that Leadbelcher just to do the blade. Is this? Oh. I was wondering what was going on. I must have hit the camera because it was just moving further away. I was like, where is it going? Apologies about that. Should behave itself now. There we go. Now, is it going to win any prizes? No. I can guarantee it's not going to win any prizes. But it should look pretty cool on the board. That is my objective. Right, I think the next thing, I'm going to go back to that Wraithbone base, just very quickly, and just tap this bit here. Which needs to be the same white as the sash, I think. Right, we need the black back. So back to the black Templar, which again, I've got to be careful because that was literally lit off. To do the shoes. Okay. Getting in there. Sorry, just wait for the camera a minute. I've got a feeling this is still moving. It's one thing I need to invest in is a new camera mount. There we go. That's gone again, isn't it? Oh dear. Sorry, bear with us 2 seconds. Fingers crossed. So, there we have Samurai mostly done, to be fair. That's how quick and easy it is. I'm pretty pleased. It's looking quite good. I am going to put a bit of detail. I think I'll go in with the red. I'm going to go with a little bit of detail on that, on the handle of this. So I'm just going to go diagonally down like so, and then back up. And the same. Oh, come on now. Oh, wow. Oh, that's fully broken now. Dearie me. Let's try and let's get these handles done on this video. No, that didn't work very well, did it? But that's not being seen, I suppose, so it's not too bad. Now we also need to put just a tiny bit of gold at the back of those handles as well. That'll look a bit better. There we go. It's going again. I'm so sorry about the end of this video. Hopefully most of it is okay. Oh, the hands need some more of that. Let's see if we can, come on, we can get this done. There we go. Final piece of the puzzle is that kind of, I don't know what you would call it, just a bit of rope coming down from his chin, just holding her helmet up with Apothecary White. Like so. Job done. Now we would do the base, but obviously with the issues we've got of the camera mount and the fact that we're on an hour and 9 minutes for this video means I am going to stop there. The next stage would be to do the base. I will of course put some pictures up of the finished article on the end of the video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. It's given you some ideas, maybe, of how to paint. It's not finished yet. There's still a few bits of touch up to do as we carry on forward. But that's the Ronin from Senjutsu, painted with Citadel contrast paints in real time. So the time you've got is the time of the miniature. It's taken a little while, to be honest. It's got quite a bit of detail on it, I suppose. And I'm a little bit rusty in front of the camera. From before, you can see at the back of those the helmet there needs doing as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoy painting yours. It'd be great to see some of it on the Discord or Facebook for other people's painted samurai. Until next time, keep gaming and keep painting.